Hello, Dr. Melissa Boylan from Noretta Family Medicine today. So I wanted to do a fun Friday video today, which is also very useful. So today's video is going to be how to check your pulse. Why am I doing this? Because plenty of patients come in and say that they feel that their heart's been racing or skipping beats, but they are unsure if their heart actually is doing that because they're not sure how to check their pulse. So checking your pulse is useful in that situation, but it is also very, very useful and even life-saving potentially if you come across somebody who is down on the ground and you don't know whether they're breathing, whether their heart is beating, and whether you need to start CPR or not. So this can actually be useful to me whenever you come into the office. So there are two places to check your pulse. There are more than two places to check your pulse, but the easiest two places are in your neck and in your wrist. And what you want to do is never use your thumb to check a pulse. Always use your second and third fingers together because your thumb has its own pulse. So use your second and third fingers. When you find, and I'll show you how to find the spot on your neck where to go, you want to count your pulse for an entire minute. So if you have a watch on that has a second hand, count how many pulses, how many beats you feel in a minute, okay? A normal pulse should be regular. It should be between 60 and really like 90 to 100 beats per minute, okay? That's sort of the normal range for people. If you feel this, that is an irregular pulse, and that is something that is something that you need to call your doctor right away about. Also, if you feel this, that truly means that your heart is racing. So if you count how many beats you feel in a minute, it oftentimes will be well over 100. Let's go ahead and move on, and I'll show you how to check a pulse. All right, and here we are with our trusty model today, and we are in the same household. That's why we're not wearing masks. But just one more thing I want to say about the heart rate. You know, typically physically fit people, marathoners, that type of thing, will have a very low pulse. So typically in that 60 range, it can even be under 60. All right, let's just go ahead and dive right in and find the first pulse, which is the carotid pulse, so called because it is the carotid artery that gives you that pulse, which is the artery that takes your blood up to your head. You've got two of them, one on each side. Find your chin. Follow your chin all the way back to the back of your chin where your neck, right at the level of the neck here. And then what you want to do is follow it off to the side. You know, you're going to feel kind of that hard cartilage there, go off to the side, and eventually you're going to come into a soft spot, okay? If you keep going, you're going to feel kind of a harder, squishy area, and that is the muscle that kind of connects down here to your clavicle, your collarbone. So what you want to do again, chin back off to the side where you've got that soft squishy spot. Use two of your fingers and go ahead and just press lightly, okay, to feel the pulse. So again, we're going to go here, chin to the back of the neck. I kind of feel that harder cartilage there. We're going off to the side. I feel that squishy spot. I'm going a little bit too far now because I feel the muscle. I'm going to come back to that soft squishy spot and just press lightly. Don't press too hard, and you're going to feel a pulse. I'm going to count how many beats I feel in 1 minute, okay? All right, so that's the carotid pulse. The other place you can feel for a pulse is in the wrist. This is called the radial artery pulse, so called because it runs along the radius bone in your forearm, okay? This one oftentimes is a pretty easy one to feel because that artery is very close to the surface. So what you do is you follow that thumb, okay, all the way down to where the wrist crease is on the thumb side of the wrist, okay? And you don't want to go to the middle of the wrist. The middle of the wrist doesn't have that artery. It's off on the thumb side. You're going to use your two fingers, press lightly, and feel for a pulse, okay? Now, how can you kind of cheat this and figure out where that radial artery might be? Well, it's because you can do this with a watch band. So if you dangle your arm, that watch is going to go all the way down and get stuck, you know, but it tends to get stuck right over the place where we need to feel the pulse. So you can push that watch out of the way. Again, this is going to be thumb side. That watch band was right about here. You're going to lightly press, and then we start timing with the watch on our wrist, okay, to feel for that pulse, okay? All right, so why don't you demonstrate? Why don't you go look for the carotid pulse, the carotid artery pulse. So chin to the back of the neck, off to the side, to second and third fingers, and just press lightly, okay? Do you feel something? All right, great. Okay, so the method works. All right, let's take a look at the radial pulse now. Okay, so we're gonna move that watch out of the way because that was a sort of a cheat sheet for us. Follow that thumb down to the wrist. Just press lightly. Do you feel a pulse?
I do.
Great.